lot of times we get very caught up in judging our every thought, action, what we choose to put on, what we wear. It's a very, you don't have to think about it to do it. You just notice it come up. The inner critic just starts speaking, right? So it could be anything. You could drop something and you hear the inner critic like, look at you, you're so clumsy. You know, you need to take care of some tasks, and maybe you procrastinate and you just feel like you can't pull yourself together to get it done. And the critic goes off, you know, this is just laziness, you know, you're gonna suffer for this. If you don't work, you don't eat. If you don't do this or do that, you need to take care of this, take care of that. And that inner critic, the more momentum you allow the inner critic to have, the more it's just gonna keep going and going and going. And over time, this connects to a story that now you listen to every single day. And so because you're listening to it every single day, your subconscious mind is starting to believe it. And it's just like, yo, she or he keep thinking this every single day. And over time, it absorbs into the subconscious mind and it becomes our patterns. So we don't have to think about it anymore, you know. Habits die hard. And so what happens is when you come into a deeper level of mindfulness and awareness, you start to notice all of the voices and what causes the voices to talk and what causes them to be quiet. Now, the power of mindfulness comes from being able to detach from whatever it is that you are listening to your mind say to you. And if you don't make an investment of emotions, if you don't deposit your emotions into whatever this inner critical dialogue that you have is coming up is, what happens is you start to just observe the voice and you start to just get curious about it and be like, that's pretty often that I've heard this voice in my mind say that I'm not enough, that I never do enough, it's never enough, and I need to work harder and I need to do more. And okay, but I'm thinking about all the things that I do, and I actually do a lot, and I actually believe that I'm doing the best that I can where I am and what I have. So now you're creating a new character, you're creating a new voice, you're creating a new verse in the story, and these stories have songs attached to them. And so this is whatever emotional thoughts and sounds you emit the most. And so we invest, let's say 10% out of the 90% of our day, we'll spend it meditating or doing affirmations. You're doing the work, or journaling, or maybe you go to your course at newverselive.com. You're like, let me log in to my course and let me meet some new parts of myself, do some of these exercises or whatever. And then what happens is when life doesn't change the way that you were hoping it would, now the voice starts and you start to I need some sun. You start to feel worse about yourself because you're like, I've been meditating, I've been doing this, I've been exercising, whatever it is that you have committed to doing, you've been doing it, and you're not seeing the change that you would like to see. And so over time, what happens is you start to resent whatever the soul work that you are here to do. You start to resent the fact that you are repeating these karmic patterns in your life, and you feel like, I'm ready to let it go, I'm doing things to help let it go, and it just keeps happening to me. And so when you go into meditation the next time, you have some of you knows that this is good for me and it's going to help us help so many other people. And then another part of you, that other voice, is just like, yeah, but it didn't work for you the last time, and remember all of those other things that you were hoping for and it didn't go that way. What make you think this one time is going to be different? And so right there, that's resistance. So now you have indifference towards the activity. And over time, if you're the kind of person where you're like, I just got to do this for a few minutes, you be so caught up in the performance of doing this thing versus what it can give you, that you start to kind of feel like it's a burden to do it. You start to feel like eating healthy is more of a burden. It's more complicated and more expensive than it is, but it's got a lot of benefits too. And so you just start to feel like these things are burdens. I know for me, doing yoga, as much as I love it, but there's this other part of me that knows I got to carve out the time and space to do it. Where am I going to do that? There's another part of me that knows I need a quiet environment to do it. When will I get that quiet environment? I got to figure out a time of the day I can do this. And then I'm thinking about all the other things that I need to do, and I start asking myself, do I really have time to do yoga? It's not like this one yoga moment is going to change my life, and I got all of these other tasks that I need to do. And then we get lost in the thoughts, and our psychic energy is drained because we are ruminating about making a decision and not really able to be fully there, fully present when you make the decision. So sometimes I could go ahead and say, just do 5 minutes, just do 10 minutes. And that helps to ease myself into it. But if my mind is on all the other tasks that I need to complete while I'm doing that, I'm actually exhausting myself. I'm not in unity with myself, which is the meaning of yoga, the Sanskrit word, to be in oneness, to be in unity. So I'm divided, and I may not be really even moving, but I might feel tired. I might feel too tired to finish. I might even feel like after I'm done after this, I got so many other things to do. It might just erase the whole relaxation process of this that I'm trying to have. So I might as well just get up and do stuff. This is what the monkey mind, the goat mind, the reptilian mind, which is many ways that this mind has been explained in philosophy, but this mind just keeps going and going and going, and this is that other voice. And this is simply your recordings from your environment, your recordings from non-verbal communication that you have reserved inside of you. So our chakras are vortexes of energy, they're wheels of energy. And because they're energy, all energy is connected to some form of fluidity, some form of movement, motion. And so these things kind of get recorded like a cassette tape. And like you could have a cassette tape with a rap group on it, and you can record some country music off the radio onto that same cassette tape, and it will overwrite what was there before. Well, with us healing ourselves, when you focus on the energetics, the vibrational frequencies of the healing, which is typically one of the main places I focus in my own healing journey, is invest in the vibrations and the sounds that lead me to where I desire to be. And so if I'm battling with my mind like this, the quickest way for me to pull myself out of my head so that I can be fully present in the present moment, I'm not living in the future trying to figure out a problem, and I'm not stuck in the past thinking over and over again about mistakes and regrets and things that I wish I would have done different. Like I had that happen to me today, and I had to make a choice of how long am I going to invest my emotional energy into this. And what happens is, let's just say throughout your day, a lot of emotional energy goes to being defensive. Maybe you get easily triggered and you are sensitive to rejection or criticism, so you find yourself being defensive throughout the day. Well, that's depleting you. That's depleting your battery of energy that could be used for something else. It's depleting your life force. So what happens is, when you're depleted, your thoughts are going to start to align with the energy that's inside of you, of that not enoughness, emptiness, incomplete, I'm not whole. And all of us have work to do. Like, there's no human on this planet who never has like negative thoughts. It's just all in how you respond to it. what happens in relationships, we don't do this work. We don't learn to detach and observe in this way. And what happens in relationships is that when we get in a relationship with someone else, if we're feeling empty, if we're not feeling enough, and if we don't feel like nothing that we do is ever enough, what can happen is we will begin to drain and seek and find all types of subconscious ways to get that need met, to get filled up. And if you don't practice mindfulness, if you aren't aware of some of the ways that your ego tries to protect you, and some of the ways that you get triggered, and some of the ways that you try to get needs met without asking for them, in fear that you'll be rejected, or in fear that you will be judged for whatever that need is, or in fear you'll just be told flat out no, and then you have to deal with the feeling of being abandoned. So in these situations, what happens is that hole that's inside of your energy wheels. These are like holes in your auric field. That hole is going to always seek to be filled. You know, if you cut a hole into something, the air, the ethers is going to flow into that hole. You cut a hole where some water is, the water is going to flow in that hole. You know, nature abhors a vacuum. So everything in life is all about filling in the areas where they are empty or depleted and not whole. And what happens is you get in a space where you don't know how to identify where you're leaking confidence, where you're leaking energy, where you're leaking the love that you could be given to yourself. Maybe you try very hard to make other people be happy with you and like you and not be upset with you, and you people please. And when you do that, you're leaking that love that you could be giving to yourself, and a lot of your energy is being used to make other people feel okay around you. So you don't have as much energy to help yourself feel okay. And what happens is, it is just a natural thing. I really do not believe for most people they are intentional vampires. Of course, narcissists and narcissistic supply seeking that energy from an external source, because the energy cannot be made for the person to create their own sunshine and to feel good about themselves. This is why it's so important, if you deal with depression, to find things that make you feel good about yourself and actually do them. If you're not doing that, you become a vacuum in whatever situation, place, thing, whatever you are. What are you sucking in? Because when you're trying to feel fulfilled by something outside of you, oftentimes we're not filtering what's coming in. We're just sucking it all in. You know, you're not really paying attention to, well, what ingredients in my day today maybe wasn't healthy for me. So, you know, if you accept negative attention because it's better than none at all, a lot of us do that. You know, sometimes as kids, we didn't get attention unless we was doing something bad or wrong. And we learn, well, that's better than not getting any attention at all. And that's better than nobody ever talking to me or paying attention to me. And so, you know, this is just one of those patterns that can carry on into adulthood. And so in our relationships, we can sometimes become vacuums, and we deplete the people that we love and care about. Even if we're trying to do something kind for them, or give to them, or be present with them. Like, if you're not present with yourself, and if you don't have a practice of being able to be aware when you're in certain emotional states and certain mindsets, then you become a hazard to the people around you in the unconsciousness. You know, this is this spiritual war that we are going through as we're awakening. The purpose of it is to teach us to love ourselves first, and then others, to fill ourselves up first and then give to others. And this is why the 3D Matrix programs so many of us with the theme of, well, taking care of me is selfish. And sometimes it can be if it's in excess and others' needs that you are responsible and accountable for aren't getting met, then that's different. But self-care usually doesn't take away from you caring for other people. It usually allows you to care for other people and do more without the codependency element. You know, you're not doing it to try to get people to feel a certain way around you so you feel okay. And as a recovering codependent, this is something that has been really tough for me. Also, with being an empath, I absorb energy really easily. Anytime I slip into not being mindful, I'm absorbing. And so sometimes I have to clean myself up and filter through that later, especially if I'm having a busy day. This is important for spiritual hygiene and sitting down and just doing the work and checking your thoughts and checking in with your body, checking in with yourself, seeing how you feel. These are very basic things that can be very transformational. And I wanted to share this because I, realize that our houses, with the way that our houses are shaped, if you're an empath, you need time away from the house. And a lot of us are working from home and homeschooling. Now, I'm doing both. And so I'm at home a lot, and I'm a homemaker. So I'm always doing something in the home. It doesn't really give a lot of time for me to focus on the home within the home, my temple, and inside of me. And sometimes sickness will come before anything else comes. And so, it's just being able to take the time to be with my thoughts and myself so that I can process these things. And this is just one of the things that's being healed energetically right now as well, with the healing of the feminine, with this feminine embrace coming back to help us. We have stars like Sedna bringing that feminine energy in that hasn't been here in probably, 11,000 years. These celestial bodies, we're all connected. And it's just like the food chain and the hierarchies in life and in nature, the ecosystem, like everything is interconnected in a way. And so as these energies are coming back, it's helping us to soften up, to slow down, to be more feminine, to not rush some things that you just can't change, and to stop trying to force things to be how you want them to be. All of these things deplete you, and you will begin to resent some of the practices that we've been doing together here, and whatever you have added to your spiritual awakening is something to help you. And so for those of us who are starting to feel these burdens and feel these things and doubt where we are and don't feel like we're too sure that we're going in the right direction, and maybe things are happening in your life and it's like communicating another message to you other than what you're hoping to receive, well, you can pivot yourself and the way you're perceiving it. And when you change the way you're looking at your life will change, because you're changing your perception of it. So tell yourself a new story. Tell yourself an intentional story of how you show up for yourself. And I'm going to go ahead and give this out now, because this is developing into something really beautiful that I may turn into a ceremony that we can do together, meditate together, and just step into this new gateway together for the Lioness Gate portal on 8/8. I'm just getting this download now, so I'm just telling y'all what I'm being told. But one thing that you could add to everything else that I have shared with you as to what you can do with this energy and how you can level up is to think about this. If I had the opportunity, this is what I've been asking myself, if I had the opportunity to put a billboard up of anything that I want to put on it, what would I put on that billboard and why? That one question. If you can figure that out, then you have more clarity and direction as to the higher potential that you are being called to reach. And you may find that some of the things that are a big part of your day-to-day life now, you may find that you wouldn't even want to put that on the billboard, and that might mean that your loyalty to whatever that thing, person, practice is, relationship, career, whatever, you may not feel as good about it as you used to. So it's good to check in with yourself and just see where you are with how you're feeling and what you would like to be actually creating in your reality. And when you find something and it feels so good to your heart where you like, I will put that on a billboard, that feels so good to me, I will put that on a billboard. It could be a business, it could be an idea, it could be a quote, it could be a picture of something. So many different things, something that you're proud of accomplishing, something that you're proud of being open to experience. It's just so many things, but what would you put on this one billboard? You only get one. And that is going to help you to create a bridge of consciousness with your I Divine Self, to be able to feel what it feels like to be in that higher purpose, higher potential version of yourself. So when you find it, write it down. I would love to hear it. Look, that's your billboard. Come back and let me know. Like, this is what I would put on my billboard and why. And let the world know, this is me. This is how I'm feeling. I own it all. I am owning my now moment, and I am planting this seed of what feels good to my heart that I intend on receiving. I'm not going to be in resistance anymore to what I have already planted seeds to manifest. I must open my heart to receive, and this is me letting the universe know I am open to receive. I am not ashamed of this, because if that thing go on the billboard and it's something you might feel shame about or guilt about, you know, it's some work energetically and emotionally to do around that. And these things right here with this new moon in Cancer, these things right here really can have a profound impact on the way that you feel about yourself, and you can get an immediate infusion of confidence, and it wasn't connected to anything else outside of you or anyone else. And this is so important because this new moon in Cancer is calling for us to be less codependent on anything outside of us, and to be more self-sufficient when it comes to creating our own sunshine, creating our own bubble of love around us, and learning how to be wherever we are and feel okay about where you are. And if the only thing that you can feel okay about is that you are breathing right now, that's okay too. You don't have to have something in your life that's proof that you are okay. You can determine that you are okay all on your own. And that power is the power that's been offered to me. And this started off as a very shadowy, dark day of just grieving and crying my eyes out and having to be okay with it, and to not feel like my tears are somehow interfering in the life that I'm creating and who I am, who I want to be, and all of those things. It doesn't. It's just a moment where it was necessary for me to feel that. And so ride the waves. You can't hide the waves. You got to ride the waves. They're going to keep flowing. And because we can't see the light side of the moon, we're in this subconscious energy. And subconscious doesn't have to mean bad. You know, it's a lot of beautiful things that create their own light in the depths of the oceans. Creatures we have never seen before on the surface. And there is an alien-like beauty that's so spiritual, magical, and mystical, and that's being offered to us now. So I want to thank you. I needed to get a lot of things done today, and I didn't want to not share this. It was so powerful and transformational. I was gonna type this up in an email and send it out, and I was like, you know what? No, this deserves full audio, visual, everything. And it's okay that I'm multitasking. You know, this is coming through, and I'm sure whoever is meant to receive this message will get it. So I just want to thank you. I do have a crystal store if you want to check that out and see. We have a lot more than crystals there. We have incense holders, dream catchers, so many different things that you can use to just start filling your life with things that makes it feel more like home to you. I just kind of see us as squirrels right now. We're collecting and getting ready for the winter, and there is a winter coming. And I will probably be channeling more about that. I'm putting those messages on Patreon from now on. But yeah, there's a winter coming, and we're preparing for something. So you definitely want to do the work now, so that when we get deeper into this retrograde of Venus, you will be prepared, you will have sustenance, and you will be ready for whatever unfolds in life. And the more innovative you can be with whatever issues you're dealing with now, the better you will be at innovating your life later. It's a win-win. All right. Namaste, namaste.
Whoa, you ain't on my level, you ain't on